Acceptance. Acceptance begins with allowing things to be as they are, however they are. It has nothing to do with complacency or resignation, though sometimes these can pose as acceptance. Think of the shrugging expression, it is what it is, just as stubborn egotism can moonlight as authenticity. Rather, acceptance is the recognition, ever accurate, that in this moment things cannot be other than how they are. We abstain from rejecting or condoning. Instead of resisting the truth or denying or fantasizing our way out of it, we endeavor to just be with it. In doing so, we foster an aligned relationship with the actual present moment. Acceptance also means accepting how downright difficult it can be to accept. It may seem paradoxical, but true acceptance denies or excludes no aspect of how it is, not even our impulse to reject how it is. Anger, sadness, trepidation, resistance, even hatred, within an accepting attitude. These all have room to say their piece. Sometimes accepting ourselves starts with facing that we don't know how we feel or that our feelings are mixed. Rejection of any part of our experience is an unnatural self rejection, one that nonetheless feels normal to many of us. You've made some serious mistakes. You find yourself filled with hatred or resentment or confusion. These too are candidates for acceptance. Underneath them, there is always pain. In fact, hatred, resentment, and even confusion can be the psyche's attempts not to feel pain or sadness. Healthy grief, the jewel so often hidden within ossified grievance, frequently waits on the other side of accepting how things are and have been. That too can be hard to embrace, but when we forestall the energy of mourning that wants to move through us, we only cause it to build up. As Gordon Neufeld puts it, we shall be saved in an ocean of tears. A distinction must be made between accepting and tolerating. Being with something and putting up with something have precious little to do with each other. Acceptance is vitalizing because it makes room for the other three A's. It grants admission to anger. It, if such is present, increases our sense of free agency and makes room for whatever our authentic experience might be. Tolerating the intolerable, on the other hand, is deadening. For example, resigning oneself bleakly to conditions such as abuse or neglect involves rejecting crucial part of one's self, needs and values that deserve to be respected and integrity that needs to be safeguarded. That is far from true acceptance. Darlene, a 38-year-old family therapist in San Jose, California, began to accept that the realities of her marriage were intolerable only when she developed an autoimmune disease. Based on her fundamentalist Christian upbringing, she had truly believed her God given duty was to accept, read, endure the miseries her husband's own traumatic imprints visited upon her. Is the connection between my stress and my as the connection between my stress and my illness dawned on me, she related, at one point I remember going, holy shit, I've been in this kind of martyr honoring God position of staying in this abusive marriage, and there's just no way this is going to kill me. The same applies to injustice or oppression on the social level. To accept that whatever is currently happening is happening. The simple fact of the matter does not mean conceding that it should happen. To deal with racism, poverty, or any other societal ill, we must first recognize that they are realities of life in this culture. They exist, and we must acknowledge our pain and grief that they do. Now we can ask ourselves how we might effectively work to eliminate not only their expression but their root causes. We can move on to healthy anger, to agency, to autonomy in action.